Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetCrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Friday, April 24th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
All right, gang, here we go. It's another edition of the Hockey Betting Podcast. We're down to once a week, but we look forward to doing it, and we look forward to getting back and really rocking and rolling here. And the NHL, I'm telling you, they're targeting, I think, a July start at some point. I think they'll hold out. There are a lot of logistics, but I'm holding out hope, but we shall see. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas, Cam Stewart in control of all of Canada. Cam Trudeau.
I got to tell you, not everyone likes me, but my rating might be more popular these days, Brian. Maybe I should throw my hat in the ring, but the problem is they do background checks. Do you know this guy's a notorious gambler? He's a pig at buffets. Yeah, they'll find everything.
He even bets the NFL draft, that kid.
Yeah, who doesn't? Producer Mike is telling me about Russian ping pong. I'm on board.
Yeah, he even bets NHL simulated hockey. Hey, wait a minute. That's a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing, buddy.
We're excited about it. It's a thing. We got some cool stuff. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. That's a little tease. We're working on some things for you. Hopefully it pans out.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. There's some hockey news. If our budget was like non-existent before COVID-19, I mean, we were singing the parlay song. So clearly, we should have Viva Las Vegas playing underneath this. But Elvis got a contract.
Yeah. Hey, Elvis. What can you say about Elvis, Brian? We talk about Columbus as a team that was going to take a step back, and it's a good year, a good extension. 2 years, $8 million, only $4 million. That's something you definitely have to take a chance on. I know sometimes goaltenders catch lightning in a bottle. Remember Jim Carrey, Net Detective, and stuff like that. It doesn't always last over time, but the way Elvis has played for Columbus, I think he's been fantastic and well worth that money. I think it's a very, very good deal for the Jackets. 2 years, $8 million seems like a steal. The guy was on fire. 2.35 goals against, .923 save percentage, and he kept this team in a lot of hockey games, Brian.
So what does that mean? The Korpisalo dude then is whenever we get to draft day, is that a thing?
I got to tell you, I don't know your opinion of Korpisalo. I don't think he's that good. I think he's okay. He's serviceable as a starting goaltender of the National Hockey League. Nah, I think he's more of a decent backup. He's okay. He's good enough to play in the league, but I would not build my franchise around Korpisalo. He lets in a lot of really bad goals a lot of the time. He'll make some saves, but that's the thing. It's very hard to get consistent play from Korpisalo. Some nights he looks great. Other nights he looks horrible.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'll just throw this at you. We thought the Jackets were going to be a dog's breakfast, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought the Jackets were going to be one of the worst teams.
All right. Well, Korpisalo is 19-12-5.
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't hideous. 930. I'm sorry, 911.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah,
it's not hideous.
Yeah. No, it's still. You're right. Mercican's slightly better.
You're okay. Right. Well, if you say, okay, the kids won you over. I mean, if you're making that commitment, are you going to be tying $9-10 million up in goaltenders? So if you're signing this kid, are you saying he's the guy moving forward? Believe me, Cammy, there's some teams out there that would, cut a limb off to get Korpisalo.
No, you're right about that. Think about, the Panthers' goaltending situation is abysmal.
Well, they got that Spencer Knight kid. Don't worry about them. That was the dumbest thing.
Once you get a play, you're screwed. I'm just talking about, there's some other teams with goaltending issues, but I'm just saying if you're looking at, so what team you think would need the goaltender the most?
Oh, boy.
Carolina. Would
probably
Carolina
be it would probably be a good idea, don't you think? This is just like our pre-production meeting on the air. You think it'd be a good idea to have an NHL browser open doing this? Probably. It would probably.
We're working to midnight doing the draft.
Oh my god!
Doing a draft pregame.
I'm like, what day is it?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. What day is it? I got to tell you something.
Oh man!
I know Carolina's got. They got. Boy, we're not starting again. Mrazek.
They got starting again. Are you kidding me? What the hell with that? No, I just put the standings up. No, you asked me like who.
I'll tell you who needs a goalie.
Well, I'm looking. The Devils definitely need a goaltender.
So Mackenzie Blackwood's no good? Come on.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's good, just as good as Korpisalo, in my opinion.
How about the? I mean, you can't stand Rinne, and no. Hey,
Brian, I love you. I love going out for wings with you. Love seeing you for like a minute on my trip to Vegas. But put the brakes on.
What?
I don't hate Pekka Rinne. I'm just saying. Pekka Rinne, you cannot rely on him in big game situations. He's been a big problem.
Okay, I got it. I found the team.
And has cost that team series before. And I like Saros, but the problem with Saros is
he's not a number one.
He's real small. That's another thing.
Saros is not a number one.
No, Saros is a great backup.
He's not a number. I got it. Okay, there's a team. It sticks out like a sore thumb. San Jose.
Yeah.
You're telling me Korpisalo wouldn't be a massive upgrade in San Jose?
Well, yeah. What are you going to do with Martin Jones then? Like that? That's like,
unfortunately, you paid him.
Yeah, you did. That's like, yeah, you did pay him. What about the Ottawa Senators? They're going to be going in a different direction.
There you go.
See, trust me. No, I'm reading the pregame notes, Brian. Just takes me a while sometimes, to rev up the motor. Ottawa, I love Mr. Anderson, okay? Mr. Anderson, yeah, he's a great guy. But Ottawa's a good young team with tons of draft picks. You might want to go in that direction moving forward. Detroit's a train wreck, so I'm going to say pass. St. Louis has Binnington. Colorado's got goalies. Dallas has Bishop. I'm just going down. Edmonton solved their problem. Oh, I got one for you. I got a great one for you. The best one for you. It's hot like your Bic lighter. The Flames. They need goalies.
You don't like Big Save Dave, huh?
Big Save Dave? Are you kidding me? Come on, Brian. Like we've watched this guy, like this Big Save Dave stuff. Who made this stuff up? His family? Dave Rittich is the most inconsistent goaltender going.
All right, hey, how about this one?
Okay, we'll look at him right now. So Big Save Dave's got a 907 save percentage, right? Okay, he's whatever, man. He's not a good starting goaltender. No way.
All right, well, let me ask you this one. If you were you're gonna go big picture, long haul.
Yeah.
They've been a great story, and all of a sudden, right before the break, the kid was on a Tootsie Roll. But are you doing a cartwheel with Mike Smith and Koskinen?
I will say this. It's an interesting thought that you bring up about the Edmonton Oilers because their team is very, very close now. When you look, Mike Smith has been good, but he's another guy. He could be amazing, and that's the problem. Finding a consistent goaltender is very tough in the National Hockey League for good teams. Like, imagine Boston, they're rolling out Rask and Halak. That's insane. They got two wicked goalies. Here's the thing about Edmonton. They might have to, because with McDavid and Draisaitl, this team has a good window right now, but I would keep Koskinen, and some team would be desperate for a guy like Mike Smith. He doesn't have many years left.
All right, enough about the Oilers goaltending. There's other fish to fry, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'm just saying, you gotta be. You're the guy, hey, Brian. When I told you I love Koskinen when we years ago,
he was good there at the end.
Yeah, he lets in one Koskinen's MO. He stands on his head and he'll let in one cheesy goal. But I'm good with that because the guy makes some incredible saves. Smith's been okay, but, he's getting a little bit long at the tooth. And Edmonton's real close right now. This team is finally – they're not choking anymore. They're taking it up a notch. So, yeah, they could get an upgrade, but I think you keep Koskinen around.
All right. Hey, there's 4 NHL sim games today, Cam. Sabres are a stick-out plus $1.46. Eichel in a video game against anybody, I'm in. Leafs, Hurricanes. Leafs laying a buck.
Over.
Leafs laying a $1.40 on the road.
Oh,
What's that? What is that?
Give me the Canes plus the money, right?
Yeah. Arizona, $1.40 at Anaheim. I'm taking the Ducks at home.
I disagree there with you. Oh, big game for the Coyotes.
Oh, what, Phil Kessel goes. Well, we saw Cody Eakin get a hat trick in a sim game.
That's the thing. So Phil Kessel left 9 points.
All right.
Yeah, next.
I'll tell you, I like Winnipeg. Look real.
Winnipeg.
They look really good in the video game. The Canucks are $1.30 at home. Listen, come on, you're giving me. See, the thing with these sim games, and honestly, I mean, all kidding aside, these people
bet dogs.
Well, there's a learning curve, and we're going to start doing some stuff on this. I mean, we were clowning around, but there might be something that we can do with this that we think would be entertaining, informative, and this is the Hockey Betting Podcast.
Yes,
but the one thing we get some work to do to learn situations like are goalies being pulled, that kind of stuff. But the other thing you got to watch, there are no fourth lines playing in these video games.
It's a great point.
So when you're doing these sim games, you're probably looking at really the first and second line playing 95% of the time. So you got stars playing against stars, right? There's no checking line.
Good call. You got to take a look at the team's first.
Out there. The other team's not putting their third line out to slow McDavid out. They're putting their guy out to score against McDavid. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of cool things about it. There's a lot of stuff that just ain't realistic about it. But that doesn't mean if you don't watch it and trend it out that you'd find opportunities in it. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy at all. And look at the game that we were doing, right? Like the Jets were down 1-0, bam, they scored 4 goals. I think it's ridiculous, and this would never happen in a simulation or real life. Cody Eakin getting a hat trick in a period. That's never going to happen. But anyway, let's jot this stuff down. And that's an excellent point by you. You looked how much the top 2 lines played on the game, right? And the top defensive pair. So, and it was interesting, Brian, the point that you brought up earlier. When Winnipeg was crushing Nashville that game, they kept Rene in there to get peppered. Did they not? They didnn't change goalies. I thought they would have. I thought they would at the period.
We were right. We were dicking around, clowning around, having some fun. Yeah. And honestly, when that happened, he said, "If this was a real game, Rene's skating to the bench."
Definitely. After the Jets scored 4 goals, yeah,
and not because of him to wake the team up.
Yeah.
There are no coaches in the sim games.
That's true. So yeah, who calls the shots? So goalies don't get pulled. Then I would have to assume.
I mean, it's like anything. Honestly, it's fun.
Who runs it? Gambler? Who makes the call, Brian?
It's a random. I don't know. It's a random thing. They put lineups in there, and they got power ratings for guys, and you throw it in there. But honestly. I'm not saying buyer beware. It's to know that it's not a hockey game, and that there are things that are unique to it. And if you're handicapping this thing, it's basically stars against stars. I honestly, you would have to, and I'm not saying anybody that dove and did the deep dive into this thing couldn't find an edge. And I don't know, like ice time, like how many minutes are, from
a small sample size, Brian, I have to believe this. If you say all the stars are playing against each other in the top units, overs.
More often than not, I would say yes, because not only are those guys capable of scoring, but their strength is not defense. So they're playing against the other team's offensive guys. So
you said it, buddy.
So to the point where if you were doing your homework on this, and now we're hearing live betting is actually a part of this equation.
That's awesome.
I would think, like, if we looked at a sim game here, we'll pick one. If we picked a sim game, we just went through it here real quick.
Yeah, your Sabre game.
Come on, a stupid computer. Why is it here? Here, Arizona and Anaheim. Right, if we're making a number on this game, now this is a sim game.
Can I make one?
But if mine, okay. Here, well, before you do, I'll take a picture. No. All right.
And I'm not looking at it, so I'm just going to throw something out there.
I have written down a number. All right. You say what your number would be. Arizona at Anaheim.
Oh, it's at Anaheim. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would make that line Arizona minus $1.15, total 5.5.
See, I have. Well, and what's your total?
5.5.
I have Anaheim minus 15, 5.5 under 30.
Yeah, I like the 5.5 under 32. I would have got juice to the under.
Okay, but even so, all right, you say Arizona 15. I buy it. I mean, but I say Anaheim minus 15. On the sim game, Arizona's minus $1.65.
Ooh.
What the hell is that? I mean, clearly, they're sitting there saying Oliver Ekman, Larson, and Kessel are going to go nuts, and they're saying their offensive ratings. What does Anaheim got? I mean, are you doing a cartwheel over Getzlaf and Silverberg if to light the lamp all the time?
Yeah, no, Arizona.
It's a different game. My point is, it's a different game.
Yeah, it is. It is a different game. I also think, though, we're going to this is the thing now. We're starting something. We have to have data. We have to build our database, Mark Lawrence style, Brian, and see how things pan out. There's going to be certain trends. We'll figure it out after a while. But I would say this, as I said before, overs make sense to me in this game because a lot of star players don't play defense. I see a lot of back and forth. And the game that we saw, just very small sample size, Winnipeg and Nashville scored like 5 goals before. Like, it was ding, 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 ding. In these Sims games, does it happen quick? Like that's what it seems to me. It's very, very interesting. But hey, we'll track this stuff, buddy.
Well, and just conceptually speaking, and this is part of like maybe a little thing we're tinkering with. Games come back. Does this stuff go away?
Not totally.
Is it completely irrelevant, or is it something that's a source of entertainment and something during the day and after the games are over? Is this actually another cottage industry?
I think it is.
Or does it go away? And
no.
we think there's maybe a market for this.
I do think there's a market for it. I'm not going to say they'll lose, obviously, some of the market share, but also think about this. Look at the times of the games. 10, 11, 1:32, like all before, Brian. So what's the only thing going on other than baseball afternoon? Who knows if there's even going to be a season? Horse racing. So you don't think people want action in the morning when they wake up? Oh, yeah, I've got the sim game. And people who love computers, younger kids, millennials, that's something that I think bettors will obviously mean, like, we'll go back to hockey, but I still think this will be bet because I think it sets up very nice with the time frame.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there and people are playing it. I mean, they're betting, like you said, they're betting Taiwan baseball. They're betting.
Yeah, people are betting Russian ping pong, Taiwanese baseball. Like, yeah, so you can bet a sim game.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, let me tell you something, boy. That Vladisov guy, that backhand is it's ridiculous. I was a great ping pong player.
Buddy, I don't want to sound like Al Bundy here, but I know it was only against like 20, 30 people. Like, I'm like the Northwest Territories regional ping pong champ. I used to play every day.
Kid, I'm not making this up. I was really good, and everything I did was an undercut. Had junk on it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of spinners. Yeah,
in college, and I mean, you're talking time tunnel here, like the Wayback Machine. I skipped more classes in college, and it was always in the game room playing the Asian kids.
Yeah, not just the Asian guys, the Dutch. It's weird because they're long and lanky, like for a big overhand smash, right?
Fleuter. Did I ever tell you that story? I went.
You're such a clown. Tell me the story.
No, this is another Wayback Machine. The most exotic thing I've probably ever done. It was I can make a movie out of this, actually. It was a last minute thing. A buddy of mine, guy's a great guy. You guy's a car dealer in Western New York, like the guy, like every
West Her.
No, remember? I don't know if you mind. Do you remember Charlie Mancuso?
The name rings a bell, actually.
He was actually in Batavia. He was like a big shot in Batavia. God bless him. Great guy. And he won a a trip because he was like the biggest dealer. So one of the car, of a Chevy or whatever it was, he won a trip. He won a safari, right?
To Africa?
Oh yeah, won a safari.
Yeah.
All right. So they're going to go on this safari. It's him and a buddy of ours who works for the Bills. And so the guy from the Bills goes and gets like 27 shots. I mean, in the arm, needle in the arm. 27 shots so that he can make the trip, for dysentery and all this other. And the guy's arm's falling off, right? And Charlie says, I ain't doing that. So it was him and the other guy who were going. And he calls me on a Monday and says, hey, BB, he says, we're not doing that safari thing. He says, we're going to go to Stockholm.
That sounds, hey, I'd go to Stockholm.
He goes, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, great. Yeah, sure. I'd love to go. I said, I can't. I don't have a passport. And this is Monday, right?
I don't have a passport.
I didn't.
Okay.
It's not easy to get a passport. So I'm in the newsroom at the TV station, and the one news reporter goes, he's like in the other cubicle, and he's overhearing this. He goes, oh, I know somebody in Daniel Moynihan's office. I'm like, well, so the long and short, and then so now he's pestering me. He goes, I'm taking you. I go, no, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. No, I want you to go. I love the guy like a brother. He browbeats me to the point I say I'll go. So so I'm like, okay, I'll go, but I can't. There's no way I'll get the passport. So anyway, I fly into New York on the flight's Friday. I fly into New York and stay at a buddy's place on Thursday. Friday morning, or no, on a Wednesday. On Thursday, day before, the office closes at like 5. At 4:59, I'm in there with like 500 people, and they call my name, and I get the passport. Then I almost missed the plane in the whole 9 yards, and so anyway, so we go, and then we get over there, and Buffalo people are everywhere. I'm like, this is gonna be great. The boys trip, and the boys are out of town. We walk in the Grand Hotel in Stockholm, Sweden. We're standing there going to check in, and some guy walks up and goes, "Hey, Brian!" I wanted to put a bullet in my head. Like, I can't go to Sweden and hide it.
What is it? Our hockey podcast has turned into a travel show. Traveling with Brian Blessing. That's the best. So you go to Stockholm, Sweden, and you run into some guy who knows you from the Sabres broadcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was the aside.
Did you enjoy Stockholm? And then we'll move on to news.
So the three guys, we sit at it's a movie, I'm telling you. So three guys were sitting at a village square, a circle kind of thing. A roundabout, the buses and the malls, and so the three of us, we looked, says it has to be unanimous. Unanimous, it has to be unanimous. That's the prettiest girl you've ever seen in your life. Clock starts 10 minutes. 27. 27 unanimous. That's the prettiest girl I've ever seen in my life.
Oh no, there's smoke shoes in Sweden, right?
It was unbelievable.
They're beautiful women. I told you during like the Olympics and stuff. Like the Swedish teams are, they just look nice, beautiful. Like it's I think I'd enjoy Sweden. I love cold weather. You know me, Brian. Like I like to sleep in the deep freezer. I can handle it. Like
but
I lived in the Canadian Arctic. I can tell you one thing. Sweden is a place I'd actually love to go. I think I'd really love it there.
Yeah, well, but we went in June. I will just tell you, though, just some friendly advice. When you walk out of the bar at 3:45 in the morning and the sun's
out. I know.
It's like, wow.
Oh, I love it, man. No, trust me. When I lived in Yellowknife, dude, I'll tell you, Brian, I worked at the newspaper. I'd go in early, get all my stories done, and go on benders. I'd wake up using a Snapple bottle as a pillow. I'm like, hey, it's 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun's out. So you didn't know when to stop partying, drinking. They have a golf course they don't even have like grass, so you use like a mat. Go in there. Next thing you know, you lose. The Canadian Prime Minister Chrétien was there. I'm in the woods. Literally, I couldn't see the freckles on my arm because they were mosquitoes the size of toonies. I'm just ripping them off. No, it is a gong show. If you live in a northern community, there is nothing like the summers. You never sleep.
It's nuts. And watch this segue to get back to the hockey betting podcast.
Yeah, that's why you're a pro, buddy.
When hockey returns, and if the playoffs are going to happen, I'm telling you, And to this day, it's still we love talking about bad beats, right? The worst. I still to this day think it was one of the worst beats. I got horrific bad beat stories, but the one was when the year the Kings won the cup. I bet Drew Doughty to win the Conn Smythe at 40-1.
What a pick!
And he was unbelievable. He played 29 minutes a game. This, that, the other thing. And, of course, it's like, when you're watching a game and they do the 3 stars, and the guy's like, Peter Klima. The guy's invisible, but he gets the overtime goal, the star of the game. Like, my ass he is. He played 3 minutes. Well, Justin Williams gets 2 overtime game winners in the finals, right? I'm like, they're not even close to being in the finals if it ain't for Drew Doughty.
That's the way it works, though, Brian. That's why those bets are tough.
Oh, my God, they gave Justin Williams the Conn Smythe. I threw the remote against the wall. I was so pissed. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to bet. I'm going to find 2 or 3 or 4 of them. I'm betting Swedes to win the Conn Smythe. These guys are skating over there, Cam. Everybody here stuck in their house. In Sweden, all these guys are skating right now.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And that's the thing, like, think about this layoff. We're not talking about like a couple weeks. We're talking months. Guys are going to be so rusty. These guys are going to come out of the gate and go absolutely bananas. No, I like where you're going, Brian. See, you're thinking outside the box right there. That's a smart move.
All right. Here, I'm gonna sound stupid if I'm wrong. Is Landeskog Swedish, right?
Yes, he is.
Well, Landeskog, boom, Conn Smythe, betting him. I like Colorado to win the cup.
Gabe Landeskog? Yeah, he played. I'll give you one, Brian. If you get this one, I'll be really impressed. What junior team did Gabe Landeskog played for?
No idea. I'm serious. No idea.
Close to me. Kitchener Rangers.
Oh, there you go. Mike Robitaille played for the Kitchener Rangers.
Yeah, see, that's Yancey's Fancy Cheese, Robitaille, Landeskog. Love it.
We're back to that. No, he talk about an omen and a theme. He's from Stockholm. How's that? And see how we brought it all the way back.
We did, Brian. And I'll tell you this though.
But see, you got to win. You got to win the cup 99% of the time. I mean, you could be a goalie that carries a team to the finals and loses, and maybe win the Conn Smythe. But, I mean, history says you got to win the cup. Okay, I would think you have to look at some Swedish guys that they'd have an edge, I believe, when they come back in a short tournament, and it'll take them, their transition would be smoother. I like Colorado to win the cup. Landeskog's a beast. I'm betting. There it is. I'm just going to handicap my own thing right here live on the show for it. If somebody offers odds to win the Conn Smythe, I'm betting Gabriel Landeskog.
What do you think his odds would be?
Oh, 30?
I'm thinking about 50, 20. People aren't stupid. I know Nathan McKinnon will be one of the favorites.
No, it's going to be McKinnon and Makar would be ahead of him.
Yes, they would. Yeah, they would.
That's only one team.
No, I understand.
Right. So then, Larry, let's go to 90% of the people think it's Tampa Bay or Boston. Coming out of the
not this guy.
Well, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Tampa Bay. No, know what I thought, Brian? You brought up something the last time we talked when we were watching the Sim game. I'm not counting out Washington. I think this break actually works for them too.
I was just literally, it's terrifying. Great minds or idiot minds or two half wits make a wit. For that, I would say Backstrom. Same premise.
Yes,
because we said Washington. I'm looking for Swedish guys.
Yeah, you're all in with Sweden, Brian. I like it. I don't understand, though. The thing is, and you talk to these guys, so I see your report. They're talking about players being ready for May 15th. I got to be honest, Brian, I think that's a little bit mature, but I like your idea before August. Like, I don't know. Have you heard anything new when you're doing your hockey show there in Vegas? I know you talked to a lot of heavy hitters, but that NHL report saying players to plan for a May 15th workout, does that not seem a little bit premature?
Well, Bettman comes up with a 3-week training camp, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, no, the clock is ticking, man, right? And then, oh, by the way, the European guys, I think the only way this is going to fly right is they're going to go send a 747 over there and bring all these guys back, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have to get a pass from if flights are prohibited. Believe me, the leagues are connected to the government. So, okay, yes, you can but you bring them all in. But every one of these guys is going to walk off that plane and be quarantined for 14 days. There's no getting around that.
They have to, yeah.
If you want to do a 3-week training camp and you got guys that are going to be stuck at home for 14 days, the clock is ticking here.
I agree. The training camp could be a week, 7 to 10 days. That's
10 days.
I think you can do it at 7, but I'll say 10. So me and you agree on that.
Think of training camp. I mean, these guys show up at camp, they have 2 practices and play a preseason game. Now, the starters aren't playing in those games. But the problem is, how can they ratchet it up to that kind of intensity, for the playoffs? They will. They will. The thing is, they're all none of them are nicked up now. They're all healthy going in.
I agree. See, that's another point. This break, hockey's a different sport than whatever. There wouldn't be the wear and tear going into the playoffs. These guys are going to murder each other. It's going to be one of the crazy, the physicality of the playoffs is going to be nuts.
The one thing I will tell you, Daniel Negreanu, the poker player, the Golden Knights season ticket holder, he's a big hockey nut. We're going to get him on the hockey betting podcast.
No, he's good. Yeah, he knows hockey.
Oh, he's a fantasy hockey nut. I mean, he knows the prospects, so he's all over. So, but they postponed the WSOP, or I'm sorry, the World Series of Poker, and that 90. Most people knew.
I know what you're talking about.
Cam's like, what?
Actually, I knew, but continue.
Yeah, I know. It's easier to make fun of you than the listeners.
It is.
So anyway, I'm telling you, I'm having a real problem here. I realized why I started telling the travel story, because I never got to the punchline. What the hell were we talking about? What was the Negreanu thing?
Talking about Negreanu, fantasy hockey.
Yeah, no, something else. Oh, no, I got it.
No, about hockey coming back.
I got it.
World Series of Poker.
No, I got it. He's friends with a couple of the Golden Knights. He didn't name names.
Okay.
But he said the players have told him they don't see any way this happens.
What, before your date of August 15th or in
it?
Oh, as in
playing.
Okay. Oh boy.
Well, I mean, that's their opinion, but
that's really depressing. I was just actually
it was kind of depressing. I'm optimistic. I think they'll hold out longer than any other sport, and but see, now if you got some players saying that, see, this goes back to my thing that when this all comes to pass, again, you're going to have to get the players and the NHLPA to sign off on this, that, hey, when a guy tests positive, we keep going.
Yeah.
And maybe the players are, on their side of it going, well, I don't want to leave my family behind during a pandemic for 2 months, and I'm not signing a piece of paper.
That's the thing. And you talk about baseball, that's what Mike Trout said. And they talked to Scott Boras, right? He goes, listen, I talked to my clients. They're down with it, but for 1 month. That's 4 weeks they're talking. None of this 2 months plus. You know what I mean, Brian? That's the thing. A lot of these guys, pregnant wives, kids, it's a lot to ask. Hockey needs it, though, more than other sports. A lot of the baseball guys got guaranteed
$1 billion. They can't afford that.
Exactly. Hockey's totally different. That's why they're going to look for every nook and cranny to make this thing work. And I think I'm optimistic too, Brian. I think by maybe start of August, what you were talking about before, that seems more realistic.
Hey, before I forget, because this is the problem, I can remember phone numbers from when I'm 5. I literally don't know what I did 5 minutes ago. And to the point where we're telling that idiot story, start telling the story and lost the reason why we even told the story. I never got to the point of the story. I mean, that's how stupid. I mean, your short-term memory when you get old is just.
So why? You went to Sweden because you got a free ticket?
No, the Sweden story started because you were talking about the Danish people playing ping pong. And I said Venderfluter, and you.
I actually said Dutch, but yeah, close enough.
Okay, so that prompted the story that during the trip to Stockholm, after 3 days, as a big a wingnut as this guy was, he sneezed and hurt his back, and he was mad at the hotel. He said, we're out of here. I'm like, what? He goes, we're out of here. Where are we going to go? We literally went to the airport, and you were looking at an LED board in a sports book, we're looking at the big board in Stockholm at the airport. Where are we going? That's what this trip, it was nuts. He goes, Amsterdam. I'm like, yes.
Great call. Yeah, that's the thing. Once you're in Europe, it's easy to get around, man.
No, I said yes. Yes. And he goes, no, we're going. Copenhagen. We're going to Copenhagen.
Oh, I don't mind Copenhagen, but you got to go to Amsterdam.
It was cool. I wish we'd have gone to Amsterdam.
That's the home of Carlsberg beer, Copenhagen.
So the point of the whole stupid reason I started the story, we're walking down. They're called the walk street. It's called Astroyet, and we're like right around Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. And he knew this couple. The guy was Danish, and the wife was, I believe, Taiwanese. And they're in the airline industry, but they got a 3-year-old kid. So we're walking down the street, and it's the kid's 3rd birthday. The truth, it's 3rd birthday. So I look at the kid and go, "So where are we going?" And the kid looks at me and goes, "Vender Fluter, right?" And I'm like, okay, whatever. Trying to be nice to the kid, right? The mother looks at the 3-year-old kid and goes, "Honey, you have to speak English to him." And the kid goes, "Oh, we're going up 2 blocks, turning right." I'm like, I never felt so stupid in my life. The 3-year-old kid speaks 5 languages.
Of course they do. They live in Europe, Brian. That's the way it rolls.
We're idiots.
That's the way they roll there. Yes.
Moral of the story, we're idiots.
Yeah, you should know at least Spanish because you live down south. I'm supposed to know French. I quit like grade 6.
French in high school. Ender trois quatre cinq six sept huit neuf dix.
Yeah.
Ouvre la fenêtre, open the window.
Yep.
Keller Teal. I got about.
What time is it? Wow, Brian, I'm actually impressed.
Mm-hmm. And I can sing a French Christmas song. That's it.
What's dos cervezas, por favor, amigo?
I think a beer costs $2.
Yeah, 2 beers, my friend.
Yeah.
my producer's like, just look at this. Are these idiots working for the travel agency now? Copenhagen and Sweden. Wow.
Hey, listen. Let's just cut to the chase.
Yes.
You want to let people know how stupid we are, and not that they don't know and have figured it out already.
Okay.
We've been doing this crap on Zoom for a year. How did we not buy $10 million worth of stock? And we should be going, do your own hockey betting podcast. Cam and I went to Fiji.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Like when Mike sends us the codes for these meetings now, they're like 13 instead. We used to do it on like 5 or 6 digits. What the hell is going on?
How did we not buy some of this?
It's so true. Like we were doing Zoom before everybody was doing Zoom. That's an excellent point by you, Brian.
Just another way to ruin your day, Cam. That's why I'm here. Brother.
Can you send me some horse picks? I feel like throwing it down.
Yeah, Saturday.
Like
yeah, where is it? Hold on.
No, tonight, before the draft.
Yeah, you're on your own. I'm watching the draft today. Saturday, race 9. There's 2 stakes races at Oakland. Race 9, like the 3, Echo Town.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Stalker coming from off the pace, and the other 6 furlong stake race Saturday, the 8, Mia Mischief, 9-2. Santana and Asmussen, the combination in both races.
Ricardo Santana Jr.?
I like sir. Yes, sir.
See? Yeah, you taught me well, Brian.
By the way, hockey and horse racing, bringing it back to hockey. I mean, all those Red Wing names that are out there. I mean, that's the owner out in L.A. Was it Redmond Racing? Where Nyquist?
Oh yeah. He's got a lot of those. I've noticed too at the track a lot of baseball, like DeGrom, Dodgers pitcher Kershaw. Like I've been noticing a lot of sports names.
Eddie Olczyk was owned horses, and obviously he's broadcasting horses. Joel Quenneville, owned horses. There's a lot of hockey names, a lot of hockey and horses.
I used to own a horse too, Brian.
Yes, you did. Was it Western?
And I lost $20,000. So come talk to me about it.
Well, I tried to tell you and Gabe, your friend, on the front end. Hey, Cam, horses eat a lot.
They do. And you also have to pay the trainer. You got to pay the fees to get them to the track. Like, basically, if we're not finishing top 3 or 4, like, we're just getting pummeled, which we did.
Yeah, I used to. The funny thing is, I'm like, again, all this crap, you can't do it for yourself. So I'm working up at Fort Erie. I'm there about 5 years. And the one guy's a car dealer in Buffalo, different car dealer. And this guy comes up to me and says,
Facillo?
No. Was he a car dealer? I think he was. Is that or a lawyer? So I think he was a car dealer anyway. And he comes up to me. He goes, I want to get into horse racing. I said, well, okay. I said, it ain't for the faint of heart, man. I mean, you lose your shirt. Love it. I mean, I always want to do it. You find the right cheap claimer and catch lightning in a bottle. So what he goes, well, I need a trainer. So I gave him a smaller trainer with a small barn, a female trainer. She was really good, had good horses, but the guy wasn't going to get lost in the shuffle because she didn't have a big barn. Doesn't the guy, he's, I got 100,000. I'm going to put 100,000 in, and I want to get some horse. So I point him to this trainer. They go and make a higher claim, one of the higher price claims at Fort Erie. The guy first sticks his toe to water. The first claim the guy makes, the horse turns into the horse of the year at Fort Erie.
Yeah, the opposite of me. It's like my my boss at the Score. You know what race he won, Brian? The North American Pepsi, whatever. He won $7 million.
Yeah,
showed me the race. It was standardbred. I'm like, thanks. So I lose $20K, and you're showing me he's like Mr. Burns. Throw it on the pile, man. I'm like, okay, thanks. This is really helping me out that you won $7 million with your horse. Great.
Mike's literally like playing.
No, I think Mike's probably breaking things right now.
Well, another quick one though. I mean, it's the other side of the coin. A buddy of mine's a dentist down in Olean, and this guy. He gets into the horses, right? He's big into Buffalo Raceway and a harness and whatever. He gets a 2-year-old baby. The thing's a rocket sled, and takes the thing up to Canada where the purses are insane. The horse is a 2-year-old, the fastest horse in North America. The thing's pointed for like the $1 million race. He's the favorite. The horse ends up with a bowed leg, never races again.
Yeah, it sounds like our story.
Yeah, see, there you go. Speaking of bow legs. What other Swedish player do you like for the country? Oh, God.
Exactly. How about can I pick a Finn? Can I pick a Finn instead of a Swede?
Oh, a Finn?
Yeah.
To win the Norris.
No, Mikko Rantanen.
Not I'm sorry, not the Norris. The Conn Smythe.
Mikko Rantanen.
Rantanen's a stud, sure.
Thank you.
I assume the Finns are.
Sweden and Finland, they're very close to each other.
They're close, but Sweden, they're whatever it's called. They're, the policies that are in place. Sweden has not shut down for good or bad. It almost seems, having not shut down, their infection rate is comparable to what the world is, but they haven't shut down. But because they haven't shut down and stores are open and they're sitting at cafes, but the hockey players are going to the rinks and skating. I don't know that that's the case in Finland. That's why I'm picking a Swedish guy.
I would assume. But anyway, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me, but I like Rantanen too as a big pooch.
Boy. Just want to say to those of you people that are out there, we love you. Thank you for listening to us. Like they're still listening to it right now. Those that started are still listening. So what do you think? A target date?
I love your first one. You said August 15th. I think it's got to be about a week earlier. Give me August 8th.
Oh, I think August 1 would be primo.
August 1 would be.
I think. Well, they're saying July.
That's a little bit too early. I think the end of July, first week of August.
It's amazing how it's only a short amount of time, but it's massive. That. I think August 1 would be a home run. I think August 15th is the drop-dead date. I think it takes 7 weeks to play this thing. I think they can get even if they had to bleed this thing out to Labor Day, you give them a month off, you do the draft, come back with a short training camp, and you go. And then next year, you're dishing out the cup, third week of June, maybe first week of July, which is a nightmare. But you've salvaged 2 seasons. It's worth doing. But I think August 15th is the drop-dead date for me.
I'm down with that. I'd prefer the under, but you're right. So if nothing's done by August 15th, the party's over.
Well, this party's over. How's that?
Sorry, I'll see you next week after you come back from Sweden.
I do a lot of things poorly. If there's one thing I do is I can segue. This party is over. Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetCrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.